Hello students, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody who, whenever you're watching this class. I welcome you all to the daily newspaper analysis of The Hindu newspaper, and the edition which we use is New Delhi edition. Okay? So whoever are reading this paper, you can refer Delhi edition of newspaper. So well, as I've always been telling how important it is to read newspaper, because it is going to help you not even in essay writing, not even in paper 2, paper 3, paper 4 as well, because a lot of anecdotes, a lot of essay topics, a lot of quotes, everything, examples, case studies you get from reading newspaper. So ये important है newspaper का, है ना? So I welcome to the online students as well. So yes, let's begin the daily newspaper analysis for today. And the article that we will be taking today is largely related to international aspects of the topic, the main syllabus. Okay? The first article is about volcano which erupted in Indonesia, and we all know Indonesia is part of the ring of fire circle. And then the second article is about world geopolitics, how disoriented, how uncertain the world today is, and what is the future when we talk about the roles of artificial intelligence, technology, economy, especially oil prices, the politics of oil, as they say. That is the second article about. And the third article that we will be dealing is about South China Sea. And the second and third article is very important for you for international relations paper 2. Let's take up the articles in detail. And so look at this picture, nature's fury, and this is about Mount Ruang's crater. So this is about Mount Ruang crater, and this erupted recently, and where it is? So this is in where? Indonesia. Okay. So we will be understanding about the volcano and the types of volcano a little bit in detail, and what is ring of fire, and how Indonesia forms the part of the ring of fire. So let's take up the things in detail about this article, and that what you want to know is what is Mount Ruang, the very first thing which is needed for you to be understood. So what is Mount Ruang? It is stratovolcano. Stratovolcano मतलब जो लेयर के साथ ऐसे लेयरिंग में फॉर्म होती है, ठीक है? So this is like layering. और लेयरिंग क्यों होती है? Because there is the viscosity, जो viscosity है इस मटेरियल की जो इरप्ट हो रहा है, because of the viscosity there is layering, that is why it is called as strato. तो उसका कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स हम जानेंगे. एंड जो लेयर्ड होती है और स्लो फॉर्म होता है, विथ प्रेशर रिलीज होती है गैस, दे आर क्वाइट violent. That is why this Mount Ruang is quite violent volcano, and it is in South Sulawesi province of Indonesia, prone to regular volcanic activity. Okay? So this area is quite prone to regular volcanic activity. What is the stratovolcano? That is now what is needed to be known. It is conical and relatively steep sided. मतलब steep है, कोई sharp नहीं है, steep, due to the formation of viscous sticky lava that does not flow easily. तो जो बहुत easy तरीके से flow नहीं करता है, because of which it makes layering and conical shape, ठीक है? And with lot of pressure, the inside gases are released, and that is why it is quite violent, ठीक है? And explosive. So stratovolcanoes are quite explosive. The second thing about Indonesia, why Indonesia is quite prone to volcanoes. Indonesia is a vast archipelago. Archipelago का मतलब क्या होता है? Group of island made of group of small islands. ठीक है? So this is called as archipelago. Nation which experiences frequent seismic activity and volcanic activity. Seismic is related to anything related to earthquake is called as seismic activity. Volcanic activity due to its position in Pacific Ring of Fire. तो Ring of Fire क्या है? It is an arc. It's an arc, okay? And बोलते हैं shoe shape है, horse shoe shape है इसका. Where tectonic plates collide that stretches from Japan through Southeast Asia and across the Pacific basin. So this is about the basic part of Mount Ruang, and questions based on such kind of topics are asked in UPSC. ठीक है? So these are the basics and static part of about the Mount Ruang, what is stratovolcano, why it is quite explosive, all that thing we have known. With this, let's move to our second article. So a world in disarray, a concern about the future. So this is the topic for today, and इसमें there are few vocabs that is needed to be known. Vocab. First is disarray. Second, we will be reading about parlous. These words are used. So disarray मतलब disorganized. Presently, the world order is quite disorganized. Hello Rohit, good evening. So disarray, the world is in quite disarray, and then this, as I've always told, the purpose of reading newspaper is not just about understanding the concepts and getting information, but if you read newspaper properly, you can pick some vocabulary. This will help you in your compulsory paper of English, and also it will help you for better articulation while you write mains answers. Okay, so such kind of vocabulary you can pick from the newspaper articles. Also, this will help you in reading comprehension much faster and understanding much easier. Important for GS paper 2 CSAT. ठीक है, आजकल CSAT पेपर बच्चों के लिए बहुत चैलेंजिंग हो गया, क्लियर ही नहीं हो पाता है. So if you pick up such vocabs, it will help you for your all the three things: essay, articulation for mains paper, and then reading comprehension, everything, every other aspect, also compulsory paper of English. So this article about the present turmoil in the West Asia and the various world leaders who are involved, and second thing is that it tells about how just you know that the world politics, the world leaders are forgetting that this is just short term or things which we are looking, and they are temporarily. The larger picture the world leaders are missing, and they are not prepared for them if they come up. So and the challenges, the factors for futuristic turmoil, futuristic turbulences are because of many factors, such as the technology, the economic situation, technology in terms of artificial intelligence employed in the warfare, etc. So these are the things which has been discussed in this. So the disruptors kya hai world politics mein? Politics of oil, as I told, and then technology. So these things are mentioned. There is important line in this which has been used. This kind of lines you can also pick up and use in essay, and essays can also be asked based on these lines, like wisdom lies in knowing when to stop. So such kind of lines you can use in your essay answers, and also ethics. Okay, so yes, this has been used, and then it says what is missing in the thought process of world leaders, however, is that ये वर्ल्ड लीडर्स जो कि बिजी हैं अभी छोटे छोटे टर्मोइल्स, जैसे वेस्ट एशिया में टर्मोइल्स, उनमें बिजी हैं, एंड दे आर नॉट लुकिंग एट द लार्जर प्रॉब्लम्स विच आर अबाउट टू कम, is that it is the economy and technology today that are the main drivers and spoilers in today's world. Driver क्या है world का is economy, spoilers भी economy and technology है, and world leaders are not focusing on this. How? Let's look at that. For example, politics of oil. Read this line. Politics of oil is again something that the world cannot ignore for much longer. The growing proximity and access between China, Russia, Iran indicates that military alliances apart, the politics of oil is set to roil the world in near future. And the next line, which is important, is the world, according to economists, should hence be prepared for a major slowdown. The implication of this could be far more disruptive than the current wars in Ukraine and Gaza or potential conflagration in the Pacific. So this is about economic slowdown, which is projected, which is expected, and is written by the writer. And then second line is about technology. In the previous paragraph, the writer says that it is the technology and the world economy that is driving the world geopolitics and world economy as a whole. Also, then it is also acting as a spoiler. Technology, particularly artificial intelligence used in the war, and then economy, the situation in the economy like politics of oil, etc. How technology, let's read that part. Technology is all set to become the ultimate disruptor. Manifest attempts are being made by several leading countries to enhance their national security by protecting vital technologies over which they possess a near monopoly today. Next, this is important. Artificial intelligence is much talked elephant in the room these days. So artificial intelligence is already a potential threat as far as conventional war methodologies are concerned. But while the US and China are touted as military, the most powerful today, smaller nations are beginning to pose a challenge. Employing artificial, the smaller countries, and they're also employing artificial intelligence to level the playing field. Then next is, read this line, dimension needs to be better understood alongside the havoc being caused by battlefield in the battlefield in Ukraine by military intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance. All right, this is important for you, this line. Military intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance, ISR revolution, and the relentless stare of visual infrastructure and economic sensors carried by drones, aircraft and space assets. So इस तरीके से technology is playing as driver as well as spoilers in world geopolitics and about the future of the world. So this is important, and then as I always tell you, introduction and conclusion you should learn from today itself how to write, and that you can learn from the last paragraph of the articles every day. So this line, last paragraph, this has been beautifully written about, the concluding remarks that can be used. And because there are ways to write an article. This is talking about in terms of negative connotation, is quite negative. So pure negative in the sense about the view, about the future, and how the world leaders should think to stall such progression. So obviously the concluding paragraph will also have negative sound, pessimistic sound. So the last paragraph is about pessimism, about the entire issue that has been discussed. How questions can be expected from such kind of article? Let's look at that. It is important to look at the kind of question which can come. Read this question. Discuss the challenges posed by geopolitical turmoil, leadership vacuum and the specter of nuclear escalation in shaping global security dynamics. Let's say this kind of question comes in 150 words, 10 marker. मैंने आपको बताया है कि कितने पार्ट्स होते हैं 150 वर्ड्स में, और कितने वर्ड्स में इंट्रोडक्शन लिखना है, बॉडी लिखना है, कंक्लूजन लिखना है. आई विल टेलिंग यू दिस एवरी डे. सो दिस इज इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर जीएस पेपर 2 IR, as I told. कॉन्टेक्स्ट क्या है, दैट ऑलरेडी वी हैव डिस्कस. लेट्स आई हैव पुट इट इन मोर इजियर वे, हेडिंग सब हेडिंग यूज करके. सो आर्टिकल में क्या आर्ग्यू किया गया कि वर्ल्ड इज इन डिस्ट्रे, एज आई टोल्ड. अनसर्टेनिटी, डिसऑर्गेनाइज्ड अभी है, और इसका रीजन क्या है? Poor leadership, ongoing wars, looming economic and technological threats that we already saw in the article. अब इसी को इसमें डिटेल तरीके से डिस्कस किया गया है, that I have put in this format in subheadings that you can read and you can understand the article in much more easier manner. हमने आर्टिकल तो डिस्कस कर लिया है, तो आप ये थोड़ा सा पढ़ सकते हो. एज आई ऑलवेज टेल, यू कैन गो ऑन टेलीग्राम चैनल Tathastu-ICS Crack UPSC by Dr. Tanuja. There I am uploading these handouts every day for revision. You can use such handouts. You don't have to make notes out of the newspaper every day. ठीक है, you don't have to put the effort. I am putting that effort for you. तो आपका काम कम कर रही हूँ मैं. थर्ड आर्टिकल जो कि इम्पोर्टेंट है for us is about South China Sea. All right, and the article is India's nuanced approach in the South China Sea. Again for you, next vocab is nuance. Nuance का मतलब क्या होता है?
is like subtle and it is appealing complex quality. मतलब इस तरीके से एक्शन लिया जा रहा है जो कि बहुत subtle है but बहुत appealing. Complex तो है but it is very appealing. So that we will be looking that what is the India's government approach, what is the New Delhi's approach towards the issue surrounding South China Sea and the roles of China and how we are tackling. We will be looking at the meaning of Look East policy and how we have transformed to Look East policy. What is the difference between Look East and Act East? So Look East से Act East. Act East policy was started by Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So when he took up to power, so we transgressed from the Look East policy to Act East policy. We'll see the difference through the article. So context क्या है इस article का? That is mentioned in the first paragraph. This is there, and then the line which it is important, you can read this simply context. The line which I wanted to show and which I wanted to read is, both these statements are part of evolving approach that signals a departure from India's earlier more cautionary and neutral position vis-a-vis the South China Sea. So we have departed from an approach which was quite cautionary and neutral. Now our approach in South China Sea is no more cautionary and neutral. We are taking much more proactive stance that we will look at. Let's see about Look East policy. So the evolution of India's stance in South China Sea, how it has evolved. It has evolved from Look East to Act East. What is Look East? So New Delhi's engagement with the region was initially primarily economic. So Look East में our engagement was primarily economic, driven by its Look East policy, which aimed to enhance economic integration with Southeast Asia and the imperative to secure energy resources to fuel its growing economy. So in Look East, our engagement was economical in terms of economy, and all right. So economic engagement था. In Act East policy, not only economic engagement, we have gone to strategic engagement in terms of security and other initiative exchange, जो कि it is mentioned here. The transformation of India's policy orientation from Look East to Act East under Prime Minister Narendra Modi's administration has marked the shift towards a more strategic and active engagement with Indo-Pacific region. All right. So next line is, there is a need for a more proactive and multifaceted foreign policy to approach with the Act East, emphasizing not only in economic integration. So now we are understanding the meaning of Act East policy. What is that? It is not just focusing on economic integration, but also strategic partnership and expanding security cooperation with countries in the Indo-Pacific, including Vietnam, Malaysia, Singapore, besides the Philippines. So this is the kind of approach that we have now evolved to. Let's look at the region of South China Sea. Look at this region. So here is China, Taiwan, and then Philippines, and then Brunei, Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, and then Thailand is there, Vietnam is there. Let's look at the countries which are involved. Strategic location क्या है? So the South China Sea is bordered by China. So north इस तरीके से याद किया करो. North, south, north, east, south, west. So north, east, west, south. तो north में कौन कौन है? Bordered, the north is South China Sea. Let's say this is South China Sea, bordered by China and Taiwan in the north. All right, and then the Indo-Chinese Peninsula to the west. तो कौन कौन से Indo-China Peninsula और Indo-China Peninsula में कौन कौन सी countries है? वियतनाम, थाईलैंड, मलेशिया, सिंगापुर. वेस्ट में हो गया, ठीक है. नॉर्थ कवर हो गया, वेस्ट कवर हो गया. नाउ लेट्स लुक एट अदर साइड्स. इंडोनेशिया एंड ब्रुनेई टू द साउथ. सो इंडोनेशिया एंड ब्रुनेई आर इन द साउथ, ठीक है. नाउ ईस्ट में फिलीपींस इज इन द ईस्ट. सो दीज आर द कंट्रीज दैट आर शेयरिंग इस लोकेशन विद साउथ चाइना सी. It is connected by Taiwan Strait with East China Sea and by Luzon Strait with Philippine Sea. Both marginal seas of the Pacific Ocean. तो Pacific Ocean के दो marginal seas हैं जो कि South China Sea से Taiwan Strait के through connected हैं. And what are these? They East China Sea and Philippine Sea. You must look at the map because map-based question from such kind of articles are asked. ठीक है? So let's look at a previous year question paper so that you can understand the relevance of this kind of topic. Evaluate the economics and strategic dimension of India's Look East policy. Look East policy.
in the context of post-Cold War international scenario. When this question was asked by UPSC, it was asked by UPSC in 2016, 200 words mein. So when India had more emphasis on Look East policy, the question was asked on Look East policy. For now, further, what is important for you is Act East policy. The departure which we have adhered to now from Look East policy to Act East policy, that now is the emphasis, a significant area to be asked in UPSC. Now question practice के लिए क्या है? Discuss India's evolving stance on South China Sea issue and its implication for regional security and India's foreign policy. This I am giving you in 250 words in 15 marks. So this is the content that I have taken from the article and put it in more easier manner, which you can use and read and you can comprehend better. So the context क्या है article का? Context is that India's evolving stance on South China Sea issue, emphasizing support for Philippines sovereignty, and Philippines sovereignty के लिए India is emphasizing the support and strategic recalibration in Indo-Pacific region. So India is supporting Philippines sovereignty. How? In March 2024, India's External Affairs Minister Jai Shankar expressed full support for the Philippines in upholding its national sovereignty during his visit to Manila. The statement comes amid the ongoing South China Sea dispute between Manila and Beijing, okay, China, which escalated significantly in 2023. So this is the context, and this is about how India is supporting Philippines sovereignty. India's support signifies a departure from its previous cautious and neutral stance on the South China Sea, and now it's not cautious, it's not neutral, now it's more proactive. Okay? Policy evolution, we did see it is from Look East to now Act East, and we saw the difference also that we have already covered through the article. So now the next factor is, the next thing which has been discussed in the article is India's complex ties with China. So what is India's complex ties with China? India's evolving stance on the South China Sea is intertwined with its complex interrelations with China. What it is, how it is, border disputes intensified by incidences like Galwan Valley का जो issue था 2020 में हुआ था. If you were reading newspaper that time, you would have read about it. It was quite talked about. India's strategic engagements in the region, including naval exercise and military cooperation, serve as counterbalance to China's assertive action. China is quite assertive in the region. And then Asian factor, India's strategic recalibration is driven by recognition of the South China Sea's importance to regional security and global maritime order. Disputes in the South China Sea affects principles like freedom of navigation, crucial for India's trade routes and global maritime security. India's advocacy for rules-based international maritime order aligns with, so this is one phrase that you can also use in your answers of international relations when it comes to South China Sea, and India's advocacy, and what is that? Rule-based international maritime order, मतलब जो भी international maritime orders हैं, that has to be adhered by, that is India is vouching for, with this broader strategy to maintain peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific region. So this is the crux of the article that I have put forward in this handout that you can refer while revising. Now what is the important aspect other than the article? What is the significance of South China Sea for India? This is not written, not mentioned in the article, but this is important for you. You can read. What is the significance? Strategic importance क्या है South China Sea का India के लिए? It is vital maritime corridor connecting the Indian Ocean with the Pacific Ocean. That's why strategic importance. Then economic interest क्या है? India has economic interest in the South China Sea, including energy exploration, investments in oil, gas fields, fisheries, maritime trade routes. All these are important aspects when we talk about the significance of South China Sea for India. Then regional stability also, how India advocates for freedom of navigation and overflight in South China Sea, as stability and security in the region are essential for safeguarding India's maritime interests. Alright, and then strategic partnership, how it is that India maintains a strategic partnership with countries bordering the South China Sea, and we've already seen the countries bordering South China Sea, what are the players involved in the region. Then how the geopolitical balancing is there. Next, let's look at that point, and this is the last point and the last part of the discussion for today's daily newspaper analysis.
So geopolitical balancing. India's engagement in the South China Sea serves as geopolitical counterbalance to China's growing influence and assertiveness, supporting a multipolar Indo-Pacific region and ensuring India's role as a net security. So single player जो है, that should not have hegemony in the region. That is India's stance, and it should be multipolar Indo-Pacific region. That is what India vouches for the South China Sea. And South China Sea, how it is significant for India, that we have dealt with other than or in addition to the article content. All right, so yes, I guess this is all for today's daily newspaper analysis. अच्छे से पढ़ाई करो बच्चों. I'll see you tomorrow in another discussion of daily newspaper analysis. Till then, all the best and Tathastu.